it.
Yeah, I worked for a company. I don't know if they still exist, but it's here in Fargo. It was called MAPS, right? And it was working with migrants. So they would help them get an edge. Like I would actually meet with migrant people who migrated here, and we would get them through some kind of training and certification and schooling so they can get really dope jobs instead of just work in the fields, right? So it was a program. It was a federal government like assisted program to actually help these people apply their skills to something greater than slave work, bro. So I've directly contributed to the well-being of people coming over here legally as migrants to find work. And that job that I had was I met with these people, we interviewed them, we talked about their skill sets or what they wanted to do, and then we set them up with schooling, bro. If you wanted to go work in an office or get a really good job, we put you through schooling and certification programs so that you can get the accreditation or whatever to, I don't know how to say that word right, but to go and get an actual dope job, as opposed to just coming here and being a slave worker. So we actually have programs here that do that stuff, man.
Yeah.
So it's not all bad. It's not all our government's horrible and we hate, other races. No, stupids. You just got to get informed. We have programs for them if they come over here legally to help them get up on the ladder, bro. So why does everyone want them to come at ground level and get on their hands and knees and beg for money so that they can send it back home and take care of their families in Mexico and wherever else they're coming from? I don't want that for them, bro. And we actually have real programs right here in little old Fargo, North Dakota. So in bigger cities that these programs are even on a larger scale. But I've worked that job here before. So I know for a fact that we do help them.
Yeah.
And we want them to do good. We don't want them to just be the back-breaking slaves, bro. We want them to actually thrive in this country when they come here the right way. So there's nothing racist about this country. It's the racist view that people have. The people who are claiming racism are actually the racist ones. They're viewing white America as racist and saying that they hate them because of the way they behave, but they're not informed about what actually goes on and what we actually do. I mean, think about how many, refugees we have in this nation alone. You can't tell me America doesn't care, bro. You can't tell me America's racist against these people and that's why we don't want them here.
Yeah.
We just want them here the right way. They're undocumented. How do we track these people? And the amount of criminals that came over in the last 4 years in the deca millions is embarrassing. We're the laughing stock of the world because no other country will allow you to just do that.
Yeah.
Welcome back to another episode of Ill Eagle Culture Brands Red Tape Talk. I'm your host, John Ostos, a.k.a. Ill Eagle CEO, and I'm here with my two counterparts, Dion Two Cup Larry and Cody Big Meat Mauk. What is up, fellas?
Dion, what's up?
I was just in the gym before this, and I was showing Cody how big arms look.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he's losing a lot of weight, and it makes me nervous for him. So,
are you just training for a marathon, or what are you doing? I seen you doing cardio the other day too.
5K
Like crazy.
is coming up.
Well, I had to burn off all them calories from.
That's right, from the week away.
Yeah.
I had to get back to it, but we're 2 weeks out from the disaster of the Super Bowl. Is that right?
We're a little less, but yeah.
Week
and a
it's
half.
on the 9th.
Yep.
The disaster. What do you mean?
Oh,
Kendrick Lamar's performing.
Awful.
The Kansas City Chiefs are
I
playing.
have a great question for that. Do you think they're gonna play that file song?
No.
Oh, I
so they're saying rumors that he's gonna taunt Drake in his performance. Like he has this whole plan set up to taunt the hell out of Drake.
I believe it,
But they can't play that song like with the words.
probably not.
Yeah,
I don't know.
like
I don't know.
there's no. We can't even
What's
say
the
it on
song
YouTube.
called?
You can't say that. You'll have to bleep that word or get rid of it somehow. But
The PDFs?
yeah, you
Really?
can't
You
say
can't?
that word.
I don't think you can.
No.
Weird.
Yeah, so make sure.
Not even if you're bringing awareness to the topic, not just like calling.
We don't want to risk it.
Yeah, I suppose you're right. Yeah. Not while we're gaining
What's the
traction.
song called?
Not like
Not
us.
like us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, can he just not play that song?
My
Or
guess
not
is he's
sing it?
gonna play the beat.
Yeah.
He at the very least.
You know what he'll do
they're
is
gonna
he'll
play
do
the
a
beat.
mix. He'll do a snippet of the song
Right.
that
Well, that's
doesn't
what they
have
usually
the
do
stuff
anyway.
he can't do, and then switch it
They kinda,
into
like,
another.
mix, like, a
Yeah,
bunch
they
of
always do
songs.
short version
Yeah.
mixes on
That's
there.
what
yeah.
I've got bets on that. Is
Yeah.
that they'll play the like musical part because
They'll have everybody freaking out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
because there's no way they can talk about
Because
that.
Drake's already threatening lawsuit, right?
Defamation.
or defamation,
Yeah.
yeah.
On it?
And he
On
threatened the NFL even.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
He's got the money, bro. I'd
Yeah.
be doing it too.
Why not if you got it?
Yeah.
He's trying to be a little 50 Cent and shit.
Yeah.
So does that mean that Jay-Z is on Kendrick Lamar's side?
Is Jay-Z is doing the Super Bowl
Well,
tour?
Jay-Z's the guy that
He's the guy.
coordinates all that.
Yeah,
He,
he's
the
the guy.
NFL put him in charge of coordinating this stuff.
Damn. So he's the one that stiffed Lil Wayne out of working
Yeah,
out.
that's why
yeah.
everyone said that.
That was a big
that
drama
Jay-Z's
fest.
Yeah, it was
That's
bad.
insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be so pissed. Lil Wayne deserved it too, and he's been doing like Sports Center and like actually being an anchor for
Yeah.
sports, like,
Yeah.
and then just to get railroaded by Kendrick Lamar, who's like only got popular. Not saying he's not a good rapper. He only got
He's
popular
mid.
this last year because of making fun of Drake. Like that's crazy. Like
Well, he's been around a while though,
Oh,
right?
yeah, it's been around a while, but that's the
Mainstream.
point. It's like he really blew up over this rap.
Wait a minute.
beef.
Did he perform at another Super Bowl a while back?
the one in LA, yeah, he was there. He wasn't the main header. Wasn't he there with
But he was-
Dr. Dre and Snoop?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
he
yeah,
came
yeah.
out with them.
That's
yeah.
what I was gonna
Yeah,
say.
He came out
Yeah.
with them. That's right.
So
Dude, can't they find like people they haven't used before?
that's what I'm confused about.
Like,
And
really?
it's Lil Wayne's hometown is where the Super Bowl or home city or whatever it
Yeah.
is.
It's
So-
in Louisiana. That's where he's from.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
New
too bad.
Orleans. Yeah, they made a huge mistake on that.
That's too bad.
And
It
he's
is.
impartial to all the beef, so it would have went over really well.
Really well.
You know what I mean? But I think because he's aged out, bro, they don't mess with him like that.
Yeah, he hasn't.
He's aged out, bro.
It would just
Gotta
be
rap.
all old songs, like
Yeah.
just super old.
What I feel like they've been just
To be all
maybe I'm
doing
wrong,
lollipop and shit.
I mean-
Like a-
but they've been having. When was? I guess they had
That'd be
Rihanna.
hilarious.
They had Rihanna a few years ago.
Yeah, they should have did a girl
But it's
again.
just like a lot of rap and hip hop.
Right.
There's not much.
they should have did Taylor Swift in
Cody's
reality.
like,
Why can't we get
can we
some
do some
country
white
up
people
there?
music?
Zach Bryan.
It's some country.
That would be brutal.
They did do Beyonce. What? She's reigning supreme in country charts.
Yeah,
bro.
I know. I've seen it.
I could see that. I could
Opening
have seen them
doors.
doing country this year, honestly, with how much country exploded over the
Yeah.
last
Oh, for
year.
sure.
But I think it's now on the downhill again.
Yeah.
Like rappers were like, I'm over it now. Let's give it back to them.
Yeah.
And so they were like, we're good with it. We showed them we could take it over if we wanted.
dude,
So it is what it is. Let's move
I
on.
don't know about that.
Who do you got, Cody? First off,
Kansas City.
really, you're that much of a hater, huh?
You guys burned so many bridges.
We don't need bridges when we go to Super Bowls.
Well, I guess when you lose, then
Yeah.
I mean,
And I guess that happens. The ref cheated.
I mean, there's no doubt about it. The Eagles are a good team. Their tush push is you can't beat it. Which
Barkley's
the Bills,
a
I
bad
don't-
dude.
Yeah.
the Bills, what the hell were they doing? Like they kept trying, it wasn't working.
yeah, it worked. They got that one
They
first
did
down.
get the first down for
they,
sure.
They should have
Like,
got that.
And then somebody actually made a good point. Like in the tennis matches where they have this technology where it shows you exactly where the ball bounced.
Yep.
Like how could they not have technology of where the football is on the line?
Especially
that's
with how many
crazy.
cameras they have. And
Yeah,
like,
and they got
their
like drones flying around.
Like you think they'd be able to put some sort of tracking system in the football
Like a little tiny
Tiny
sensor or
chip.
something. Yeah.
That would be cheating though.
to know where the football
Well, I
lands,
mean, when
though.
you put something in the football, now you're manipulating the
Everybody had like every
the
game.
balance of the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, you name it. We're back to Tom Brady and
Yeah,
the
but
plate game,
I mean,
bro.
we're
you know?
talking we're talking like micrograms.
mass rule.
They
too.
already accuse the NFL of putting big magnet like forces in the
Uprights?
the goal uprights, yeah,
Oh.
and making people miss. They turn them on in the football room, like goes off to the side or something, bro. So like, the controversy is always going to be
okay,
something
so
stupid. You
maybe
know?
maybe not a sensor in the football, but there's got to be a better way to know exactly where that football is.
There does. I mean, there's so many cameras in there too. Like
I do agree with that play. Like that was totally a first down, but I don't agree that the fucking refs are actually rigging the games for Kansas City. That's corny. You're just running with the consensus, bro. Like, it happens every game of every team. There's always a team that you can go, oh, they were favored by the refs in that game. It's all just BS.
Would you say that maybe not the refs are favoring the team, but definitely favoring the quarterback?
That
Like,
would
as far
be
as,
even
like-
worse. That, like, what would be their purpose?
Because they have an
And
agenda.
what would be their
To
purpose
get their team to the
No,
Super
I know,
Bowl?
but to keep doing it year after year as if though they're not going to get caught, and they
This is
understand
what's happening
how much,
already.
but they understand how big of trouble they could get into for doing that, bro. Like, it could be huge. Like, they could go to prison, right? So, like, they're rigging, like, at a very high level. I don't buy the narrative that they're continuing to do it year after year with no care, bro. Like, that's so far.
So the big thing, which is exactly what you're talking about, is like the roughing the passer calls. Patrick Mahomes gets a lot more roughing the passer calls than any other quarterback.
Maybe he's better at flailing his arms. I could accept that he's more of a LeBron on the field than anyone
flopper?
else, but you know what I mean? Like, and I've heard they're trying to make a new rule about flopping now too, potentially that could make it harder for him to do that. But if he's selling it, bro, and it's legal right now,
But he's also one of the reasons
that doesn't
why
make the refs rigging the game, bro. It makes him tactically sound.
they favor him, and the reason why they would favor him is because he is the face of the NFL.
I don't know about that.
He is.
do you
He's
mean?
the
And
number
the
one
face of the
quarterback.
NFL?
Number one quarterback to play.
So
gonna
you're
be better
telling
than
me
Tom Brady.
you're telling me he became the best dude legitimately, and now they're favoring him and rigging his games. That doesn't add up.
Yeah.
He got you there.
What do you mean?
That doesn't add up. He was already the best.
He's
Why did
the
they have to
best. Why
rig
do they have
everything
to
for
rig
him?
it?
Why did they have to start rigging it to make him the best if
his
he was
team
already
sucks?
the best? I'm not-
It's not a single man
I don't
sport.
buy that.
We're talking a
I
team
know,
sport.
But you're saying that they're rigging it for a single man, but it's not a single man sport.
I'll say that
it may
Kansas
not
City
be
Chiefs-
rigged, but it is favored. They favor a team for sure. They favored the Eagles when I've watched
so
games.
what's
I'm like, that's
what made
not
the
great.
consensus of everyone start loving Kansas City and they're all agreeing to do it?
The face of the franchise that's going to be better than Tom Brady.
I don't know.
I'll put money on it. When we're 80,
Okay,
and you're 100.
Hey, Tom Brady got exposed, so let's see if it happens.
I think so. I don't think he's
happens.
going to get exposed. I think he's going to get more rings than Tom Brady, and that's what their goal is.
But he's the greatest. He's the face of the NFL. He's the best football player, the quarterback out there, bro.
I think Jaden Daniels will be better.
I think he's dope.
Yeah.
I think Daniels is dope, bro.
So-
Like that kid's.
He's got a huge future. If he
Yeah,
makes
I
me
mean, look
nervous.
at how far he went just on this run, bro. Like
a rookie.
yeah, come on, bro.
That's
Like that
rookie
kid's
for
gonna
sure.
get dangerous as long as he doesn't let this all go to his head and screw him up, like we've seen happen time and time again.
Yeah.
That kid's gonna be dangerous.
The Cowboys are never going to
And that would have been so dope. It would have been so dope to see Washington and the Chiefs, the two young dudes in there just going at. That would have been so fun, man. But we'll take Jalen Hurts, I guess.
Yeah, what do you mean? Saquon Barkley first year with the Eagles?
Yeah,
Just
but he's
like,
not a quarterback. I was
Well,
talking
it's
about
not-
the two head-to-head quarterbacks.
those guys. They don't matter if you got a good running
Gotta
back.
bleep that.
Throw beers at us then, fool.
Yeah, exactly.
But the Kansas City Chiefs, their D line is huge. They're all like 6'5", 6'7", 320 pounds. Like they're big individuals.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're a good team.
And Reed's a hell of a coach, bro.
Oh, he is.
He coaches his ass off. I love watching that guy's strategy, man. He's good.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see.
I just hate seeing the same teams. Like it's just like,
Yeah.
oh god. here
But
we
you'll
go.
watch. You'll sit there and you'll
I
enjoy
agree
it.
though. My Cowboys are screwed, bro. Like
If the
it's just
Washington,
not looking
Dude,
good. Our
you
head
can't-
coach is a
Hey,
joke.
but you're
bro.
not worse than the Jaguars coach. Did you see that?
Oh
guy?
my god, bro! I thought that was fake,
Is that
bro.
the
I
one you
thought that
sent
was
us?
I thought that was a parody.
Yeah.
I really thought that was a parody when I saw that clip that you sent on him. I was like, this isn't real. Like, what? This is some corny going on here.
Yeah.
Nope, he's their guy.
Yeah.
that's going to be
No,
interesting.
watch. He just tears it
yeah,
up.
he's
dude.
gonna be a whiz at coaching. Watch.
He just computes everything.
He's like, I've been playing Madden my whole life. Every single day, you watch how I coach.
Yeah, I got you, coach. Don't worry, owner.
Did the Jaguars win a game this year?
Trevor Lawrence was like hurt
Oh, that's
pretty
right.
bad.
That's right. They
So-
won a few.
Trevor Lawrence is also a really good quarterback. He just doesn't have a very good team. But the Cowboys are going to be screwed because they only two teams in the conference will make it. I'm pretty positive. I don't think you can get a wild card. I think only two. The second team gets the wild card, right?
Yeah.
So as long as the Eagles are good and the Commanders are good, the Cowboys will never be in the playoffs for the next 7 years or so.
They're
Like,
looking at getting rid of Dak, or
I mean, that was buzz talk, but they're not going to. So. The new head coach said this guy's going to win us championships and like praising him up. So
if you guys just get a good running back again, I think you'll be in a good spot. That's all that matters is having an absolute monster that you guys used to have in Ezekiel Elliott. So it'll be interesting.
The thing that sucks is just like we've talked about the way the game goes on with the money and these guys just lose their focus. It gets in their head, bro, and now they're getting money even earlier. Like there's a huge distraction. Like I don't care what anybody says. These dudes wearing their $1 million diamond necklaces in mid game and their giant earrings.
That's crazy.
It's just corny. It's an obvious distraction, and you can attribute that mentality to the loss of games and the dropping of balls and the missing of plays every time because you're just JJ, they're distracted. These guys are too distracted.
JJ.
He drops all kinds of passes. What do you mean?
He makes amazing catches too.
Have you seen Puka Nacua?
Yeah, he's bad.
He's so crazy.
Yeah, he's bad.
He's on the Rams.
Yep.
He's like a Hawaiian dude. He's like absolutely makes the craziest catches I've seen, especially this year. Like he was, you'd be like, there's no way.
Yeah.
Isn't it crazy how the evolution of the game is going though?
Yeah.
Like back in the early 2000s when I was watching, you would just get your standard bomb it, catch it,
Yeah.
Like throw it bombs to Randy Moss and he'll catch it. But now you just get these one-handed catches up in the air, and
those gloves are so sticky though.
Yeah.
Like they're really sticky.
New.
Yeah,
it's
for
new.
sure. For sure.
It's,
but still,
it's borderline like, wait a minute.
You notice it in a lot of guys.
Stick 'em.
You know, like, so AJ Brown is a Eagles wide receiver. Absolutely will not stretch out and dive for a catch though. Like that's the difference in guys that are dogs and guys that aren't dogs. Like I can see there's guys willing to win a game. There's guys that are just like, I'm here.
Force.
Yeah.
I mean, I was thinking about that too. Like that hurts, dude.
It does.
I mean, they're up in the air.
You're sacrificing yourself for sure.
For sure.
Probably get the wind knocked at you.
Complete vulnerability.
Yeah, even if you're just hitting the ground, like if you stretch out, you're very vulnerable. So it's pretty crazy. But yeah, go Eagles, fly high. Hopefully we win. A lot of people got hurt after that game that they just won. It was insane.
Really?
Yeah. Not the players, but like the fans. A guy fell off of a light pole and actually passed away. So
yeah, he died. He was young too, wasn't he?
He was in college.
I mean, that's Eagles fans.
That is.
They're either like killing themselves or destroying stuff or assaulting the other team's fans. That's what they do.
But they all came together and were against the Cowboys that day, so that was good. That was a really good video. They're like, Cowboys.
Yeah, they commit all their crimes as a team.
Yeah. Hey, it is what it is, dude. It is what it is.
I just thought it was funny when I sent you that video of the fans assaulting that guy. Deion's like trying to defend his fans a couple weeks ago.
Don't put stuff on the Rocky statue. I tell you that. Over and over.
You shouldn't sell beers in glass bottles, bro.
You shouldn't though. That's stupid. This in the new stadium at the Viking Stadium, they don't sell. They take the cap off any container.
Yep.
They don't sell. Right. I don't think they sell cans even anymore. Do
plastic.
They? Yeah. They just put in plastic cups. So it's like. That should be the norm. Like I wouldn't want to get hit with the water bottle that's half full from that high. That's not a good idea.
Maybe just be normal and watch the game. If your team loses or wins, good. Just leave. Like stop.
I think it doesn't matter what you put the alcohol in. The alcohol is the problem. That's what induces everyone's behavior and makes them go out and get violent. And even when they win, they're out there drunk and they're taunting the other teams and trying to start fights with them because they're drunk. You know what I mean? So
it's crazy. Like you never see as much hockey fans getting into
the players do that.
Like the players do it for them. That's how they get their adrenaline.
Maybe that's how they get the aggression out. But I don't know. It's weird. It's weird to me. I don't know why that's
I think in hockey. For the most part, they know the fan base. They're like, yeah, we could fight. You know what I mean? So they're less likely to do it. Where in football, it's just a bunch of drunkards and middle-aged dudes, and so they're
nothing better.
Yeah, they're willing to run up and hit somebody.
There's the stadiums are a lot bigger too, and there's more people there.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
I don't get that emotional about something so not important to my life. Like I really don't care about football that much.
That serious.
Yeah,
for sure.
So, John, we have a mutual friend. Us three, I would say that we're very, pro law enforcement. We abide by the law, and we support the people that enforce the law. You know, for the most part, we've been very vocal about our support with law enforcement, right?
Yeah.
But you know, because they have a very difficult job, and I think that's one thing that we wanted to do on this podcast was like just kind of show people some of the things that these people have to go through, just an ordinary job like that. But there's a way to do that, and that's just showing it to the public, going on podcasts, talking about it. So for anybody that's listening to this, maybe you can talk to the people that are in charge, but we had a mutual friend that was in a particular position in the local area here that dealt with child crimes.
Oh yeah, crimes against children and human trafficking.
And I think that most of the public would be supporting of that, right?
Oh, for sure.
Everybody.
I think people don't even understand the scope,
the awareness
of how big it is here
Locally,
in our community,
Yep.
and how bad of a problem it is. That's one of the biggest things that I wanted to kind of get out and advocate. So it's like,
so we tried to get one of these guys on that is doing that job just to show awareness of how bad it is and what they have to go through in their job. And unfortunately, he was turned down from whoever.
Higher ups,
they weren't
upper command.
He wasn't allowed to come on and talk about it. But I just think that's the wrong move, because I think that the more you guys talk about it, the more support you're going to get from the public.
Yeah.
And that's what the end goal is for these law enforcement officers, is to get more funding so you guys can get more personnel, and then you can get more training.
I mean, look at how close we are to law enforcement, and we didn't even know that division existed.
Correct.
Yeah.
Until Genre told us about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, imagine with the rest of the community, how much of them don't know that there's even a division that handles that, and that they're getting tips all day, every day, and they have calls coming in constantly. And I mean, it's bad. And I also saw, I posted this today on my Facebook, that kid that got busted by the kids who were just bored and wanted to set someone up, and they got this dude trying to get with a 16-year-old. When I was talking with this specific individual, he was telling me that they were trying to hit this dude with like big charges, like he was going to be facing many, many years. Now I find out he's already on the streets.
Holy!
Today they announced it on the news that he's getting time served and all this nonsense, and he's on the streets already. And I posted, I'm just like, so yeah, this guy has to basically hurt a kid before he has to suffer any kind of consequences.
Right.
Never mind the fact he intended to do something wrong to a kid. He didn't do it, so he's good.
That's insane.
It is insane. It's disgusting.
And I don't know.
And those are topics that I wanted to kind of go
Yeah.
over. It's like, why is the legal system so? And and the person we're talking about, we can't say their name, so that's why it's going to be long form. But the person we're talking about even said that like they go after them. Like they're trying to get them as much time. They're trying to build as big of a case as they can because they really want these dudes to get punishment. But the court system negates that.
And it's not just, child crimes either. I mean, we were talking to Dustin on here, the guy that got drunk and killed the girl from Wapton, only received 5 years or less.
Yeah.
And
the gray area of the law is really jacked up right now.
The girl that hit the dude on the motorcycle, she got, I think she's even out already. I think she got maybe.
Was that like on 4th of July, or was that a different one?
No, it was a couple years ago, I think now.
Okay.
There was also the other one, I think just from last summer, that dude that was in the truck that ran down a motorcycle rider and was trying to run from the cops. That's right. He got off with a insanity plea.
What?
Yeah. He got off with, it was minor punishment that he got for that because he pled in insanity or some stupid nonsense like that.
Yeah, I don't understand.
It's just weird, like the gray area of the law, bro, like that people can use it's jacked up, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird that they can just give you plea deals. I think that's the problem.
Yeah.
Is
well,
the
that
plea
sucks. And I've been a victim of that plenty of times. And what happens there is you get these district attorneys and these appointed attorneys and these hired attorneys, whatever. Nobody wants to put a loss on their record, so they're always willing to plea deal to make it a win for both of them so they don't have a loss on the record, because that's how you get, looked at as a good attorney. You've never lost a case, or you have this track record of very minimal losses. So it sucks that they can get behind closed doors and negotiate a plea deal that's so minimal to make sure that their record stays untouched or unfazed. You know what I mean? It's like that should be completely illegal. It should be against the law for them to negotiate terms to protect their record.
Yeah.
I think that's bull, man. They're not at that point. They're not trying to punish anybody to the full extent of the law. They're looking out for their own special interest.
I saw that there was a senator or congressman from Utah that was trying to get bills passed to expunge. You're gonna have to bleep that one. Records after so many years, so it's not permanent.
That'd be
Yeah,
insane.
I did see that too. You're right.
That's crazy.
And now I do get that there is some, like, some people registered on the sexual offender registry who maybe it's not necessarily
the same
that that serious. You know what I mean? Like for instance, think of situations of like some dude that was dating a girl in high school. He turned 18 and her parents turned him in, but they had been dating for 3 years. I've heard cases like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, and I'm not excusing it, but I mean, if you were teenagers together and you just happen to be a year older and be turned 18 and your girlfriend's still 16, 17, maybe at the youngest, I don't see why that would be an issue unless the parents make it an issue. So like, should that person be a sex offender necessarily? I don't know.
Life. Yeah.
Like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's, we don't know enough about what they're trying to do that maybe that's what they're looking at, saying, hey, no, like people like that, we might just term them out. But like people who are actual like sexual offenders against minors, those people should never see any break. Yeah. Ever. They should, for the rest of their lives, be punished by the crime that they did.
Yeah.
And have to live in that turmoil, for sure. I mean, I think they should be, but whatever. I guess
death
torture
penalty.
them if you can.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fucked up. A lot of things. The car accident one really gets me. Like, I is awful, obviously. Yeah. But the car one, like 4 or 5 years, that's insane. Yeah. That's insane. Like, and I saw he was like obviously remorseful, and he was like, I apologize. There's nothing I could do that'll ever fix this. But
yeah,
I mean, come on now.
Well, let's make sure you never do it again.
Yeah,
I don't understand the time served bit either.
It's crap.
They always say that you get credit for time served, and then they take a bunch of time off your sentence.
So how it works is, like, say you're going through trial, right? And you conclude and you get your sentencing. They give you time served. If you say it took 6 months to finish your trial, they give you those 6 months as time served on whatever your sentencing.
But if you were already bailed out at the time, that still counts.
Well, whatever time you actually spent in jail counts. The rest of it is what they call being stayed. So then they'll stay your sentence for the duration. So they'll say this crime should be punishable by 3 years, but now that we've made this deal, we're letting you out. So you'll be on parole for the next 5 years. And if you commit any other crimes within 5 years, you'll go back and serve the time that was stayed. You know what I mean? So if you had 3 years hanging over your head, it'll be hanging over your head for the next 5 years while you're on probation to make sure you don't get in trouble. They call it time stayed. So there is that. But I mean, again, what is the likelihood? I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's tough.
No, that's crazy.
That's
well,
tough.
Let's jump into some topics right now about a lot of the legalities of things that are going on right now too, because we got a few things to cover here that are pretty crazy. The world is going crazy. Let's first talk about let's talk about this whole federal financial assistance freeze order that Trump put out. So I'll give some quick details on it here. So the executive order issued by Trump administration on January 27th directed federal agencies to temporarily pause all activities related to obligations or disbursement of all federal financial assistance by 5 p.m. Eastern the following day. The order aimed to review and align federal spending with the administration's priorities, particularly concerning programs related to diversity, equity, and inclusion, or DEI. Woke gender ideology, as Trump would say. And the Green New Deal. Notably, the memo exempted Social Security and Medicare benefits, as well as assistance provided directly to individuals. The broad and ambiguous language of the memo led to widespread confusion among federal agencies, nonprofit organizations, and beneficiaries of federal programs. Many were uncertain about which programs were affected and which were exempt. For instance, despite assurances that programs like Medicaid would remain unaffected, reports emerged of doctors nationwide being unable to access Medicaid funding portals. Similarly, preschools reported difficulties in receiving reimbursements through the Head Start program. The sudden directive also caused significant disruptions in various sectors. Environmental programs faced uncertainty with potential threats to future funding. Projects such as necessary upgrades to water systems, clean energy deployments, and the clean school bus program were among those impacted. Additionally, organizations supporting Black farmers, which rely on federal programs for legal and financial aid, expressed concerns over the potential loss of support. In response to the confusion and potential legal challenges, the OMB released a second memo clarifying that the pause was necessary to implement recent executive orders issued by President Trump. However, this clarification did little to alleviate the widespread uncertainty. Subsequently, a federal judge issued an injunction temporarily blocking the funding pause, leading the OMB to retract the initial memo on January 29th. Despite this retraction, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt stated that efforts to freeze federal funding would continue, further contributing to the prevailing confusion. Now, this situation underscores the challenges and complexities involved in implementing sweeping administrative changes, particularly when directives are broad and lack clear guidance. The initial intent to realign federal spending with the administration's priorities was overshadowed by the ensuing confusion and disruptions across multiple sectors, highlighting the need for clear communication and careful consideration of the potential impacts of such policies. And so here's some of the language that people are saying they were confused by. This was from the order directly. So it says, to implement these orders, each agency must complete a comprehensive analysis of all their federal financial assistance programs to identify programs, projects, and activities that may be implicated by any of the president's executive orders. In the interim, to the extent permissible under applicable law, federal agencies must temporarily pause all activities related to obligation or disbursement of all federal financial assistance and other relevant agency activities that may be implicated by the executive orders, including but not limited to financial assistance for foreign aid, non-governmental organizations, DEI, woke gender ideology, and the Green New Deal. Now, while some confusion may have arisen from the memo's language, it's also possible that certain parties emphasized or highlighted the ambiguities to critique or challenge the administration's policy decisions. The combination of unclear directives and potential opposition efforts contributed to this widespread uncertainty and debate surrounding the memorandum. This is kind of where I'm standing right now. Although I feel like the language could have come off as confusing, I'm not very intelligent, and I read it and I'm like, I get it.
Yeah.
Trump came out and said this is not to affect Medicaid and other, things along those lines, financial. It was more of a directive for federal funding outside of the United States. They reiterated that time and time again. What this is saying is that there is some opposition to the Trump administration within government entities, within, all these different, programs and systems, who intentionally were confused. They didn't understand the broad language and so they hit the switch on Medicaid and other programs to piss people off, to get everyone in an uproar is kind of what they're implying. Like, look, though it maybe was kind of a quick directive and kind of broad in terms of what should be done, they were pretty clear and they said it verbally several times. This isn't to affect Medicaid. Yeah. Somebody still took action and shut that down. Shut down the portals for, hospitals and people to access the funds that they needed to for that 24-hour period that it was down. So though they're making the statement that it maybe was a weird, broad directive, it was still clear, and there's still a lot of opposition to Trump right now within these parties. That it wasn't Trump who gave the order to shut Medicaid down. It wasn't Trump who pulled the trigger on that. It wasn't even his administration. It was the people who are spiteful of Trump right now that were just like, well, this is confusing. Just turn it all off and let them pay. And so that's where we're standing, and that's what everyone's been in an uproar about. But nobody's really going and trying to find truth. And as we know, read and check out the executive orders, which are public information. You can go and read all the details on them. They even have an FAQ where they ask, will this shut off Medicaid and et cetera, et cetera. And they clearly state, no, this is for federal funds going outsource and shouldn't affect anyone on the local domestic level.
See, that's the thing people don't get. Like, whenever I see something I don't understand, or like somebody's
you got to go get an
crap,
understanding, not just let people tell you.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody's talking crap about something. I literally instantly I'll go to Google, I'll type it in, and then I'll say, okay, let's read a couple articles from a couple different sources to see what's legit and what's not. Read it through actually with like all the words. I'll look at the words and I'll read them all the way through, right? and then I'll make my own opinion from there. But it's just like people don't want to take that time to go ahead and actually like try and figure that out.
That would be too smart.
That'd be way too smart, way too hard.
They were pretty clear on what they said was they're not cutting off any assistance that had direct impact with Americans.
Correct.
That was
very clear.
That was very
They
clear.
verbally stated it multiple times in public, on social media, in press releases, as well as within the order. The fact that there's, opposition to Trump in all these particular agencies and stuff is what the issue was. These people who are supposed to be on the side of everyone that's up in arms right now about it are the ones who intentionally let it become that.
Yep.
Instead of just being like, hey, maybe we don't understand what you're saying here. Should Medicaid and all this stuff be shut off too? They were quick to just be like, this is confusing. Just shut it all down and let them deal with the repercussions.
It's probably the people that he told that need to be back in the office.
Right.
But
but I mean, again, as much as I wished some of these people could be right and we could just be like, all right, he made a mistake.
Right, yep.
He made a mistake. That was bad. He's going to make mistakes, and I'm not going to defend him when he does.
Yep.
But I go and look to make sure that I can stand my ground or be like, ooh, that was stupid of him.
Yeah.
And I didn't find that opportunity here because of, the ambiguity of what these people were doing on purpose and intentionally.
But Trump ran on trimming government fat.
Yes.
He ran on it.
Yes.
He said that he was going to create Doge. He did it. And can you guys guess what the national debt is today?
What is it?
36 trillion, 219 billion, 569 million, 426,531.
What was it 2 weeks ago?
That's, I don't know, but that is $106,000 to pay off for every single person in America, right?
That's not that bad when you think how much you pay every month. But yeah, the debt keeps growing.
So for instance, they were going to send $50 million worth of condoms to Gaza. 50 million condoms.
Yeah.
How many condoms is that?
And no one believes. Everyone's like, oh, I didn't see that anywhere. I'm going to have to look that up. It's just like,
Look it up.
Look it
it's
up.
a real thing.
Go look it up and go look at Trump's press conference where he publicly stated this in front of the world.
But that's not the only crazy thing. Like, remember
that was just one of the stupid things in
a couple months ago they were saying like Elon had posted or something, and they were having like a hamster fight club that they were paying for, or like they were getting like rats on cocaine to see what they would do, like all these really weird shit that they do. Like
so that looks more like money funneling.
It's probably money laundering, of course. Yeah, like they're not actually having like a hamster fight club. They're probably using it as money laundering, like $50 million for condoms for Gaza. No, I doubt it. It 100% looks like a money laundering scheme. Right. I think that when they saw Trump coming in, they probably the military industrial complex was like, oh crap, we're not going to get the wars we need to funnel all this money that we're making. Like we got to find other ways to funnel this money. So how about $50 million worth of condoms to send to Gaza? I'm sure that those
and a few more $1 billion checks to Ukraine real quick on the way out.
What John and I were talking about at the gym is like Gaza is it's exploded.
Yeah,
they don't want condoms. They want fucking buildings to live in. Right. Like they want homes.
They're like, here, you guys have sex. Yeah, and we'll figure things out in the meantime.
Yeah, like, what do you mean?
But just do it safely. We're here to protect.
Yep.
Good God, man.
So he's doing exactly what he said he was going to do, and that's trim the government fat, which is exactly what we need to do.
Yes.
Yep.
There's the government is so bloated that we're just the people are spending all this money on nonsense, and it doesn't need to happen. It really doesn't. And that's just if our taxpayer money actually goes into stuff that the United States actually needs, and we use it for good, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
But if it's going to people's pockets or ridiculous stuff, like no, like we're not going to pay for that.
Yeah.
It's not
like all these deca millionaires in government who make 6 figures a year.
Yeah.
How's that happening?
Yeah.
Where are they getting all that money from?
Yeah. So yeah, trim the fat, get rid of it. We don't need it.
Agreed.
Let's build the United States how it should be. I think we're on the point of no return here. It's like we got to step it up. get ahead of China, or we're going to be lagging behind.
It's crazy how much that is becoming the factor right now. Like, I feel like 4 years ago when Biden took office, it was like, we're cool with China. And that's what they showed us, at least. They showed us, like, China's good. Didn't they go to California? Didn't they have China over there? The president of China?
Newsom had hosted them.
So, like, we had a good relationship with China, which we didn't. We know we didn't. Even towards the end, they were like, this is a problem. But now we're hearing we really need to beat China in our technology development, our military development.
It just all looks staged, doesn't it?
We are lagging behind China. They are beating us.
So that new DeepSeek AI, I was listening to PBD, and they had mentioned that, and I don't know if this is true, but they had mentioned that. So China came out with DeepSeek AI. It's supposed to be the counterpart to OpenAI, but it's only supposed to, like, it was a fraction of the cost, and it was like supposed to be just as good, if not better. But they said that China was ripping off NVIDIA's chips to use in DeepSeek AI.
Yeah.
Wow.
So they're not actually making this on their own.
That's why they're like, they did this for what, $6 million or something? Yeah.
They're ripping it off. So Dion, I mean, you made a point, like, if China goes after Taiwan, we got to get
We have to get them now. At first I was like, why do we even want to keep Taiwan? But now it's a good vantage point to have over China. Second, they make the chips, and that's what fuels our growth in technology. So we need to keep them because technology is everything right now in the sense of power. Like, we are at the point, and we always have been, we want to be number one. Like, everybody wants to be number one. We've had the cake for so long, and then we fell behind. Yeah. So I don't know. And it's
Thanks
always
to the Biden administration.
Yeah, it's always hearsay when it comes to, like, what we've got and what they've got, what we know we have. Like, we don't know what kind of technology that we have militarily. I mean, obviously there's some things out there that some of us believe, like alien technology, stuff like that, where we could have it, China could have it. You never know. Have we ever been to the moon? I don't believe it, but it is what it is, dude.
For me now.
Yeah, because the thing is Elon Musk is in the light now, but I don't. The more we talk about aliens, the more everybody is trying to say they're real. It's pushing me closer to the firmament and how there's just a dome around the earth and that we're being lied to.
The more you dig, the more that reality.
Are you
comes
flat
to
earther?
face, huh?
No, I mean that is. I'm not a flat earther, but I could see it. I'm not against it.
You could see it?
I could see it being flat as like, or just bumpy slightly, you know.
You think the earth is flat?
No, I'm saying that I don't think that there's aliens the more I think about it.
You don't believe that there's aliens?
It's not that I don't think so. Don't let it confuse you that there may potentially be some kind of a firmament in the sense that there's no aliens. It just means that there may not be space.
Yeah. That's I guess that is true.
But we understand. That's why I say the argument about them coming from under the water is more sound.
I don't see that either, though. I'm saying there's no aliens inside of this firmament. It's just us. That's what I'm getting at. That's where I'm heading there.
Or what created
There's a higher power outside of the firmament that created the firmament.
Why? Why the firmament?
Why? I don't know.
Just to keep us in a
Have
dome.
we been to the moon, Cody?
You got to admit that looks really sus.
I'll admit that they did have a stage for sure. They had a stage and staged the moon landing because at the time
we had to.
There was a Russian scare, and they, for some reason, it was the big deal to beat them.
I mean, even in today's time, when India went to the moon, that was the corniest like display of visual effects I've ever seen.
Awesome. Dude, that was hey, good for them. Good for them. They're obviously very technologically advanced, and good for them.
Yeah.
When Mexico had aliens too. What do you mean?
So those two NASA astronauts that are stuck in space, you don't believe that they're stuck in space?
When I think of space, I think they're talking about in orbit. You know what I mean? Like they're just beyond the reach of what we can understand, but they're not actually in outer space, bro. Like,
where are they?
They're just hanging out there for months on end, just chilling, bro.
Where are they?
We have satellites.
Somewhere in orbit.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
So
somewhere in orbit.
inside the firmament?
Yeah.
So they're not bumping up against the firmament?
No, I guess not.
How do they not do that?
I don't know the firmament, dude. I'm not a scientist.
Yeah, but you said that there's a firmament.
I'm saying it's more likely than
We
we're
have to-
being-
we
we're
have
at
to
some
truly-
sort of
glass ball here.
not a glass ball.
What is it?
I don't know, dude.
It's hard to say.
I just don't.
You have to believe it's true before you can explain what it is, and I can't. I can't.
shut up.
I
That's
can't.
what I'm
No,
saying,
but
I agree.
I'm making the same argument though. Like I can't say that it's true that it doesn't exist. Space doesn't exist, and that the firmament is real because I would have to know factually the kind of technology and everything that's out there that we understand to be real, but I don't. But the suspicion about it is, man, there's a really good argument.
Is there or is there not astronauts stuck in space or somewhere out there?
In the place that we believe to be space, probably, but I don't think space is what like everyone understands. Like this,
Do we or do we
galaxies.
not have an atmosphere?
I don't know.
Maybe that's the firmament, though.
Right.
So when you guys see meteors coming in, burning up, what happens?
I've never seen that with my own
I
eyes.
have.
Have you?
Yes.
I've
But,
seen
but how do we know
stars,
that,
I guess,
they're
but
actual meteors? Is what I mean.
What is burning up there?
I don't know.
stars?
Burning up what?
I don't
In
know.
what?
Yeah, I don't know space. That's what I'm trying to tell you. But like the fact that we've never actually landed on,
You're arguing
rock
with us
out
like
there?
we're saying this is factual,
Yeah.
bro. We're
You
just saying
guys
there's a
are on
suspicion.
this
questioning it.
We're saying
I'm
there's a
questioning
suspicion.
it.
There's a suspicion.
Dude, my mom thinks that there's a firmament too.
See?
I just think that is the craziest.
But
thing
so
ever.
like, do you know about when they talk about the firmament in the Bible? What are they referring to? And the old
That's
depictions.
assuming, yeah, but that's assuming the language that they're trying to speak.
What do you mean? What
Like-
about the pictures?
Like I haven't seen.
What about
any
all the
pictures.
old? Look at all historical
pictures?
maps. Go look at in the scripture in the old like Bibles that we no longer use and look at the Bibles that they
I
have at
haven't
the
seen any
Vatican.
pictures.
Oh, there's all kinds of stuff you can look up now. Whether the validity of them, who knows? You know, but
That's what I'm saying.
but you
don't
can
like speaking of. I've read the scriptures. She sent them to me, but I'm just saying. You don't know what they're trying to say in that time period is what I'm trying to say.
Mhm.
Because that was 2,000 some years ago.
right. So you can't be certain that you're right either, then, because we don't know.
I believe that there's not a firmament. Yes.
But you believe
But you don't believe it on anything truthful. You believe it on
But you
on
can
your
say that
assumption.
about anything. Like you don't know for sure.
Right. That's what we're both saying. You're
Yeah,
saying
but you
that
guys
about
are
us.
for sure.
No, but we
No, we're
really
not.
don't.
We're not for sure. We just said we don't know for certain.
No.
But it looks
You guys
really
think we're in a
sus.
class-
I'm saying what I'm confident
We're in a
is
snow globe, bro.
is
Get
that
over it.
We've not landed on another planet, and that makes me curious as to what are they telling us
So
the truth
if we
about.
do
Go
land
to
on
Mars,
then you're gonna think what?
Then
That
I'll be
was
like,
fake?
I
I'll
was
buy
wrong.
it. I'll buy it. Yeah.
I'd say I was wrong.
Okay, so
I totally will buy it.
within the next
5 years.
5 years.
Now here's the thing, though.
Let's put a bet on. I'm gonna bet that we're going to Mars and that we're not a firmament. Let's put a bet.
That shit
Cream
better-
pie.
I'm game.
Did we ever do that?
No, because we agreed that nobody won that.
Who did? Because you did Michelle.
Yeah.
I did RFK, which is the closest, and you did what?
Gruesome Newsom.
Yeah. No,
But he's probably gonna run in 2028. So technically, I win.
yeah,
No,
technically.
okay.
RFK
This guy
is,
bends the rules, bro,
Okay.
to fit his favor.
So we're making a bet right now.
RFK is like second in command.
Okay,
First off,
We're
Like,
off
he's
that. We're off that.
yeah.
If we go to Mars, pie in the face, pie in the face.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I don't know.
But again, you're trying to make the argument that we're saying for certain it doesn't exist. I'm saying we don't have real evidence to prove it.
What's the matter? You don't want to stand on business?
No, because I don't say it's factual. That's why would I stand on that? That's not my business.
But you're gonna bet on it.
Sure, for fun.
Okay.
I'll bet
yeah.
on it. I'll bet
It's
on
all
it
in
too.
good
You must have like a pretty hard belief if you're gonna bet a pie in the face.
I have a pretty
What
hard.
is a
I have
pie
a
in
pretty.
the face?
I have a pretty hard belief.
Cream pie, bro.
I have a pretty hard belief that the evidence saying we don't seems a little bit more realistic than the evidence saying we do.
You know what's awesome? You're gonna get a bunch of people come up to you at the gym and be like, "Oh yeah, the firmament."
Flat earther,
Dude, so
I'm not a flat earther. I don't think that the firmament necessarily means we're flat Earth either.
yeah.
I'll say that. But who knows, man?
I think that if they go up there and they take photos, then I won't get a pie in the face. I wouldn't take it. I'd reject that for sure.
Photos.
If
You want
they
a
just-
live feed.
There's got to be something really convincing.
Yeah, like it can't be. Oh, we put a robot up there. It's look, watch it go. It's cool.
I want to see them show us Earth from Mars and it not look corny.
Yeah.
Or digital.
It's got to be like real, I guess. I don't know. There's too many stipulations.
We'll never get pied because there's no way to prove it.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, if it's a live feed, doesn't that prove it?
That would be
I
better.
mean, they could do that from a desert, bro.
It could.
Like the whole
a lot
day,
of people
like watching it shoot.
A lot of people have shown what they're showing us pictures of Mars to look like, and places in the deserts that are identical to those particular areas, bro. So it's like we don't know, and we'll never know, especially with the internet, man. Like, and all the conspiracy theorists
CGI
and stuff. Like,
and freaking
we'll just never really know.
That's you guys trying to get out of the bet. It's not going to work.
Yeah, okay, Dad.
Okay.
I'm trying to find my.
Let's jump on to another one here. We're running. We're already at an hour. Damn.
That's quick.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about this. This recent event. I think it was yesterday. Mid-air collision.
It was like 12 a.m. is when I saw the first thing.
I think it actually happened at like 8:30.
Yeah, it was
really
early in the evening. Yeah.
It was that long, and I didn't hear anything about it. That's insane.
Well, we were talking about it
right away.
At 8?
Yeah.
I saw it like 8 minutes after.
We must have our conversation muted. That's okay.
No, I just was going to bed.
So here's what's going on with this mid-air collision. So on January 29th, 2025, a tragic mid-air collision occurred over the Potomac River near Washington, near Washington D.C., involving American Airlines Flight 5342 and a U.S. Army Black Hawk helicopter. The accident resulted in the deaths of all 67 individuals on board both aircraft. So official details are the flight 5342, operated by PSA Airlines under the American Eagle brand, was en route from Wichita, Kansas to Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport, or DCA. The aircraft was a Bombardier CRJ-700 regional jet carrying 60 passengers and 4 crew members. The helicopter details are it was a U.S. Army UH-60L Black Hawk helicopter assigned to the 12th Aviation Battalion at Fort Belvoir. It was on a training mission. It had a crew of 3 military personnel and no senior officials on board. The circumstances are the collision occurred around 9 p.m. local time as Flight 5342 was on its final approach to Reagan National Airport. Preliminary reports indicate that both aircraft were following standard routes, but the exact cause of the collision remains under investigation. The status of said investigation is the National Transportation Safety Board, Federal Aviation Administration, Department of Defense, and U.S. Army have initiated investigations. Recovery operations are ongoing, with efforts focused on retrieving flight data records to determine the cause of the accident. Some emerging theories and speculations are as follows. In the aftermath of the collision, several theories and speculations have surfaced. One is air traffic control staffing. Reports have emerged that staffing levels at Reagan National Airport's air traffic control tower were not normal at the time of the collision, with only one controller managing both helicopter and airplane operations. Horrible. This had led to questions about whether staffing shortages may have contributed to the accident. Some political commentary. Former President Donald Trump suggested that diversity, equity, and inclusion, or DEI initiatives within federal agencies, including the FAA, might have contributed to the crash by compromising safety standards. These claims have been widely criticized as baseless and racially insensitive. Conspiracy theories are some social media users have speculated that the collision was intentional, suggesting that the military helicopter deliberately targeted the passenger's plane. These theories lack credible evidence as well and have been dismissed by authorities. Now, before we jump into this, one of the big headlines about this when Trump came out and said that stuff about the FAA, everyone's saying there's no basis for it. He's just being one of those guys, he's being a Trumper and throwing out all this nonsense information, claiming it. So I want to bring this topic up that wasn't part of this. There have been legal actions alleging that the FAA engaged in discriminatory hiring practices that disadvantaged certain groups, including white applicants, in favor of increasing diversity within its workforce. The background on that is in 2014, the FAA implemented a biographical assessment as part of its air traffic controller hiring process. This assessment aimed to promote diversity by evaluating candidates on various life experiences and attributes. However, critics Critics argued that this approach disadvantaged individuals who had completed specialized training through the FAA's Collegiate Training Initiative, or CTI, and possessed relevant experience. As a result, many qualified candidates, including a significant number of white applicants, were allegedly overlooked in favor of promoting diversity. There is a 2024 lawsuit that was initiated alleging the FAA's hiring practices discriminated against air traffic controller applicants based on race. The lawsuit contended the biographical assessment led to the rejection of nearly 1,000 qualified candidates solely because they were white.
That's crazy.
So it's not that far off for Trump to say such a thing. You know what I mean? And he didn't say that's certainly what it is. He just said, "There, I hope this isn't a part of some DEI hiring process. We're going to have to investigate and look into this because as it stands, as of 2024, there is a lawsuit of 1,000 potential applicants who were denied positions within the FAA as traffic controllers because they were white. They didn't fit the mold of trans, black, or all these other weird ideologies that have been over the last 4 years implemented into our society." And so therefore this lawsuit kind of makes what Trump said a little plausible. Not to say it's the factual reason that it happened, but again, it was a female co-pilot and a male pilot who were both being assessed at the time of the helicopter. So there was 3 people in the helicopter. One must have been the person assessing them flying.
He's a crew chief. He's just there to.
Yeah. The female had 500 hours of flight time though, and the male pilot had 1,000 hours of flight time. So it's pretty decent hours between the two of them, making it a little bit more worse that they had this kind of mid-air collision.
Yeah. Donald Trump's statement is facts. Like that's an actual thing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
he's not
life.
making it
He's
up
not
or
making
just
it up,
or just like being an ass about anything.
That's real. That's real thing. And that has been happening. I mean, you look at that lady down in Louisiana, that FBI agent saying that wasn't a terrorist attack. And then, 2 hours later, they had to reverse the statement because in fact it was a terrorist attack.
Yeah.
So that is a real thing. But so if there really was one person working at the air traffic controller, that's terrifying because Ronald Reagan International is one of the busiest airports in the United States.
It's a major international airport.
Even at that time, there's constantly flights coming in and out. And so this Fort Belvoir is right there, and there's helicopters flying all the time. And so even with us, like we have to do routine training, which is what these guys are probably doing. They're probably doing just night flights.
Yeah.
More than likely, could be using night vision goggles.
They said they were
to fly.
Trump said they were.
Yep.
So if they're using night vision goggles, this is my opinion. They're at night. Reagan is extremely busy. There's constantly flights coming in and out, right?
And tons of light pollution from
There's a lot of light pollution from these airplanes. I think they stated that they were communicating with the air traffic controller. I think the air traffic controller.
They didn't get a response though.
After it was like 30 seconds before, I think what happened is that, so these Black Hawk helicopters, they're communicating on a different channel.
Yeah. Well, that's right. Cause the Black Hawk helicopter did, seek permission to maneuver.
It was create distance or something like that.
Yeah.
So, from my understanding, the air traffic controller asked them if you can identify the CRJ that was landing. The pilots said yes. We want to create distance, for whatever verbiage they used, and then 30 seconds before the flight, this is my understanding that they didn't get any communication from the air traffic controller or back and forth, right? So now, like I said, they have to communicate on a different channel than regular commercial pilots do. So if these guys are flying...
Because they're military or just because they're different craft?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, it's because they're military. These guys are flying with their night vision goggles. If they say that, yes, I have confirmed, I've seen this aircraft that was landing, if they thought that was the one, and maybe they didn't see the one behind it that was coming down right behind it, and like I said, all of the light pollution and stuff from the different aircrafts, they could have confused the one that landed from the one behind it. And
I didn't realize there was a third craft involved.
Well, from my understanding, there was an aircraft that landed, and then the one behind it was the one that they hit. So
the one that they were thinking they had to.
That's my opinion. Is
the one that landed?
There was one that they identified. It landed, but the one that they hit was right behind it. That's as far as my understanding of what happened. But who knows? Like if the air traffic controller was on the wrong channel, possibly, like didn't flip back to the other channel or communicate. If there was only one person up that tower,
that's a really bad thing.
Like that's, and I've seen a movie. It was a real, not real life, but based on real events of something like that happening where there was only one air traffic controller and then two planes collided. I can't remember what the movie was called, but that would be, if that's the truth, then that's really, really terrifying because like I said, that's the busiest airport.
Yeah.
And all of these flights, they are on very specified flight paths. And if they deviate at all from these flight paths, we're working in the Joint Air Defense Operations Center. There's bells and whistles going off. We're getting phone calls from higher ups. We're all manning our battle stations, and like they have to follow these flight paths. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Regardless if they're military, they're on a flight path that they have to follow.
Yeah.
So it's just very strange that this helicopter was following their flight path, and then somehow ran into this aircraft. I don't think it was malicious. I think it was negligence. I think it was an accident. But rest in peace to both the plane crew and the helicopter crew.
Yeah, it was like a figure skating team of people that were on this plane with their families.
Yep.
And I think Laura was saying that they were just watching the figure skating the night before Air House, and there was like a couple little kids that are like some champion figure skaters.
They were in
too.
Wichita, Kansas, is where the flight came from, and I think they were either competing or they were training, one or the other. But there was a bunch of Olympic figure skaters on there, and their coaches and stuff. And I think one of the passengers of the flight actually was calling her husband like right before they.
Oh.
Or she was texting or something saying the flight was going down. You posted that. Was the reporter? No, maybe you didn't.
I don't think
there was one where they were interviewing a husband of somebody who was on the plane. I was going to say,
the wife was on the plane. I think he was texting, or she was texting him, and the reporter asked him to see the text. And I'm just like, dude,
that's so insensitive.
That's such an invasion of privacy.
It's disgusting.
Like, really?
Our media is disgusting.
It's so gross.
Yeah, they're disgusting.
It's so gross. But anyways, that's my opinion. I don't know. We won't know for at least 30 days. I think they said that they're going to take 30 days to conduct the investigation with the NTSB. But it's going to be a very thorough investigation because that DC area there's no BS.
Yeah,
there's no
sure.
BS involved.
Sure.
They got to figure out what happened because obviously this is a huge deal that cannot happen again.
Yeah. No way. I'm pretty sure I'm vaguely recalling sometime in the last 4 years, didn't we have a similar situation? But it was like a known DEI hire in air traffic control that screwed up the flight paths of a couple planes. I don't know if they collided.
Well, there's been a lot of near misses.
Yeah, near misses. I think is what it was. Yeah, so
like
we've seen this already coming into play, you know, a few times, and this was just one of those situations where it finally happened.
And Trump's not wrong. Like when we have dispatchers on the railroad, and we got people that work in the yard. They manage the trains, and if that dispatcher screws up, people die.
Yeah,
right. This is 10 times worse than that because you're dealing with hundreds of people.
Yeah,
right. And you have to be able to manage all of these planes flying in at a certain time, and just you got to be on the ball,
especially with the airport. I mean, they're usually running similar paths. It's not different.
Yeah.
So
But. And it's just, especially that airport specifically, because it's so busy. It's like whoever is in that tower has got to be a very intelligent, smart, on the ball person.
It's crazy to think right before you're about to land, that's it, you die. That's so sad.
Well, I can't imagine being in the helicopter because, unless they didn't see, they might not have saw
right at the end.
Because if they were lower than the plane, they wouldn't have been able to see them.
And have you been in a helicopter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I flew that I flew with those guys, not those guys, but I flew, you know, when we were in DC, we went to Fort Belvoir, and the people there gave us a Blackhawk ride over DC.
Just in the back, like in the back seats?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yep. So they're flying all the time over there. So it's just,
you can't see up very high then. Like when you're in
when you're looking up, unless you like stick your head out and look up. But like I said, they had night vision goggles on, so there's, you know, it's already hard to see.
Yeah.
And so they're probably just focusing on what's in front of them, not, you know, not what's above them. But yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah, it's super unfortunate, man.
Terrible.
Prayers out to that families of all that situation, man. That's tough. All right, let's jump into. We probably got time for another one. I got a few of them here, but we'll start with this one because the other ones are kind of lighter. Let's look at the mass deportation efforts, because this has been a huge controversy all over the internet the last few days. So it's in January, Trump issued a series of executive orders aimed at intensifying immigration enforcement as promised and expediting deportations. Some of the key directives include: 1, national emergency declaration of border security enhancements. He declared to address what the administration perceives as invasion, enabling the deployment of military resources to bolster security. Designation of cartels as terrorist organizations. This allowed for enhanced measures against drug cartels, including increased enforcement and potential military action. And then the mass deportation initiatives expanded enforcement priorities. They broadened the scope of individuals prioritized for removal, including those with criminal records and final removal orders. They had increased ICE operations. They set daily arrest quotas for immigration and customs enforcement officers, aiming for over 1,000 arrests per day. Detention policies, utilization of Guantanamo Bay, plans to detain up to 30,000 undocumented immigrants at the U.S. military base in Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, circumventing standard U.S. immigration laws. Public relation and social media discourse. The executive orders have elicited a wide range of responses. Some communities, including certain minority groups in urban areas, have expressed approval, citing concerns over crime and public safety as of late. Some of the criticism is human rights organizations, legal experts, and various public figures have condemned the measures as inhumane and potentially unconstitutional. For instance, the plan to use Guantanamo Bay for detentions has been labeled brutal by international observers. Some of the social media reactions. Platforms are abuzz with debates, misinformation, and emotional responses. Notably, an ice cream truck in Las Vegas was mistakenly identified as an ICE vehicle, leading to widespread panic and discussions about the pervasiveness of fear in immigrant communities. The nation remains divided, with ongoing debates about the ethical, legal, and practical implications of these policies. As the situation evolves, further legal action or further legal challenges and public demonstrations are anticipated. President Donald Trump issued a series of executive orders aimed at intensifying immigration enforcement and expediting deportations. These directives had led to plenty concerns about criteria used for detaining and deporting them. As far as criminal records go, the administration emphasized the removal of undocumented immigrants with criminal histories. This includes individuals convicted of offenses such as theft and other violent crimes. So not brown people in general, right? I don't even think it's majority Mexicans, but the Mexican culture right now is up in arms and posting all over social media about how, you know, here's ICE has been seen here. You guys watch your backs. I'll do this for you and that for you if you're afraid to go out in public. I mean, you're just seeing a whole bunch of weird stuff. Sanctuary jurisdictions as well. Executive orders call for denying federal funding to these sanctuary jurisdictions, which are areas that limit cooperation with federal immigration enforcement. This policy aims to pressure these jurisdictions to comply with federal immigration laws. We got protest participants, broad enforcement, use of sensitive locations, and legal and ethical implications in regards to the plan to detain up to 30,000 undocumented immigrants at Guantanamo Bay is being criticized as brutal, as we understand. So in summary, while the administration asserts that its deportation efforts are focused on individuals with criminal records only, the expansive scope of the executive orders, and the methods employed have led to widespread concern and debate about potential overreach and the targeting of non-criminal undocumented immigrants. First of all, if you're undocumented immigrant, you're a criminal.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. They've said this plenty of times. Tom Holman has made it clear. I think Dr. Phil he did an episode with him where he went out with him to capture a bunch of these illegal criminal immigrants. And they made a point. They said, look, we're going after people that we know to be criminal, and we know where they're located, and we're going there to find them. If we happen to go into a store, a place of business, or somebody's home to grab this individual, and we find more undocumented immigrants there, we're wrapping them all up. Plain and simple. But they're not driving around picking brown people up off the streets like everyone's acting like, and they're out protesting. And
Ice cream truck,
bro, come on. They thought that was ICE. That shows how uneducated or uninformed these people are. I don't want to say uneducated and stupid, though a lot of them are, but it's people I actually, like, this is my culture, bro. There's people I love and care about that are buying this bullshit. And they're posting nonsense all over social media. And I want so badly to, like, comment on everyone's post and try to help them out, but they're also very hard-headed and don't want to hear anything. And then some of them are just plain simply, they're in defense of these. They know that they're illegals. They know they have friends here illegally who are undocumented, and they're trying to defend and protect them too, which I guess do you, but that's going to get you implicated too.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, you're talking, what is the goal? You know they're doing something illegal. It's just like if you were to be selling drugs, right? If you're selling drugs, you're doing something illegal. You don't want to get caught.
Right.
No. But unfortunately, that's what's going to happen. Yeah.
Like, the other thing, too, I want to point out while we're in the discussion is a lot of people are talking, they're posting things that there's, like construction owners and farmers and stuff are posting videos showing all the, Mexicans undocumented working in the background saying these are hard workers, these are great men, and you're taking away from their well-being and this and that. And I have like friends posting these videos and being like, yeah, see, ain't no white man going to do these jobs. And I just want to point out, for the sake of making a short out of this fucking content, that is modern day slavery. I don't care what you say. I don't care if you're paying them $15 an hour or $30 an hour. The fact that you identify that the average American, or white man, as they say, will not do that job, and that they should be allowed to be here illegally to do that job, is you saying they don't have the acumen to do something better and more respectable than that, and that they are qualified to be modern day slaves in America and do the backbreaking slave work under the sun. That is 100% modern day slavery. And I would just like to say, black people, you should know better. And brown people, you're falling into the trap if this is what you want for your own people. This is modern day slavery, and I don't want that for my people. That was one of my arguments about why I was for the wall, because I want my people to come over here legally, because you still can. You can come over here legally the right way and then build yourself up. Take that work ethic that Mexicans are known for and go build something big. Go work for a big corporation and become a really bad dude and make some really good money. Not do the backbreaking slave work, and then let people, and your own people as well, identify that that's all you're good for, and that you should be able to be here so you can pick the strawberries in the fields.
And you also don't get paid well. Like,
you don't.
It's not the same.
If you think that these owners of these construction companies love hiring these guys because they can pay them top dollar, you're full of it. They're paying them way less than they would normally have to because they're undocumented.
100%.
And these guys willingly will do that work.
100%.
I know for a fact. I've lived in San Diego, right by the border, where there's hundreds of them on the streets every day, standing, waiting for a dude in a pickup truck to drive up and tell them all to jump in the back, and he's going to give them $20 for a day's worth of work. I know that's how it goes. And they're hustlers. They'll drop them back off on the street after that work, and they'll stand there and wait for another job. Yep. These guys, they do. Mexicans have work ethic, bro. Not to say no one else does, but it's you can see it. You know what I mean? You're not going to see a bunch of, blacks hanging out on the streets waiting to get picked up for a side job. You're not going to see a bunch of white dudes standing out on the streets. Mexicans are known for doing that. The migrant workers do that work. But to me, that is modern day slavery, and I'm not down for that. I want them to come over here the right way. I'm more than willing to welcome everybody into this country, because we all know it's so great. It's why the same people who are saying, screw this, screw that, I hate this country, have never left, because they know it's a great damn country. Why don't you want your friends and your family members to be here legally so they can thrive then? Why do you want them to pick your strawberries for you? That doesn't make any sense to me. So I'm totally for my people, 100%, to the point where I don't want them to be slaves. I don't want them to be slaves. If you got to go back because you broke the law, so be it. We got to go to prison for breaking the law. You know what I mean? Why is it okay to just say, well, let them, because you're just virtue signaling. That's all you're doing. That's all you're doing. And you're being ignorant to the actual cause, and you're completely uninformed and letting celebrities and news anchors tell you what you should be believing, and that's absolute nonsense.
Joy Behar thinks that these people are only good for gardening and
picking the trash, washing the dishes,
cleaning the toilets,
cleaning the toilets. Yeah,
I think it's tough, and obviously we're going to have a hard road to rebuild in the sense of losing so many people who are willing to do difficult jobs, but we have to create culture and community that wants to do this work for their people.
Yeah.
Like,
you think that these people would want to do that job if they were able to come over here legally and have any job in the country?
Exactly. No.
If they had the opportunity to have any job they wanted, do you think they'd be like, no, I want to go break my back out in the sun picking strawberries and fruits and all kinds of nonsense, like back breaking? I want to go do that. I want to go rake your concrete for you. I want to go do all this hard work out in the sun all day, dirty, tired, and dusty as hell every single day of my. That's what I came to America to do. No, they're willing to do it because of the work ethic, but they're only doing that stuff specifically because of their status, illegally being here. If they came over the right way, they would have the freedom to start their own businesses, bro. Open up food trucks and make bomb-ass Mexican food for people. Food truck owners make a killing, bro. They make a killing. That's a 6-figure job. I don't care what anyone is. We know people who own food trucks. They make a killing. But you can't do that if you're undocumented.
Yeah.
So, they wouldn't pick those jobs. So why are we picking it for them? Why are we saying you should let them stay because no one else is going to do that work? I bet you they will if we run out of resources. Plenty of people will jump up and do that work.
Well, these employers.
Why is it got to be the immigrants? And why are we acting like it's only Mexicans they're going after? The majority of the 20+ million people who came here illegally through our open borders in the last 4 years aren't even Mexican.
Yeah.
So get informed.
Well, these employers they're going to have to start paying fair wages.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's
and
just
so
what it
there
comes
might be
down
some
to.
businesses that go down, but that's the game.
It's a hard line, but people are going to have to pay. Homeowners are going to have to pay more money for their home to be built.
Yep.
Places are going to have to pay more money to their employees, but we have to build a community, like I said. Like that's where everybody gets so far out of reach, is they want to control something on the high level, or they want to help on the high level, when in reality you need to fucking look at your neighbors and help them. Figure out how to help them. Figure out how to help your school system. Figure out how to do those things, and then we can continue to grow. When we build a bunch of great small communities, we eventually will get to that large scale. But until we do that, we're just going to be caught in a race.
You made a good post today. I think it was nobody batted an eye about that illegal
who burnt that
starting that lady
chick on fire. Yeah, he was an illegal immigrant.
Yeah.
Where was he from? Venezuela, even?
Yep.
There's a lot of Venezuelans.
Nobody blinked an eye about that. Some of them might have saw it and been like, oh my God, that's horrible. But now they're like, oh, that person should be allowed to stay here.
Yeah.
Because ICE is wrong and the rest of you are racist for supporting
they just
Trump.
Want a better life.
Yeah, it's like, what do you mean? Like, that's illegal. You can't just randomly murder people here and be an undocumented immigrant in this country. No other country in the world allows people to just walk in. I'm a world traveler. I know for a fact, bro. You can't just go into another country and have your way or change it to suit the way you want to live because you're from another country or another nation. Like, why does America have to be the dumping grounds for all this nonsense? It doesn't make sense, man. And everyone knows that deep down inside. Yeah, that's why none of them have gone to go live in these foreign nations where the immigrants are coming from. Why don't you want to go there?
Yeah.
Because this place is dope and you know it. So let's keep it dope and let's welcome people to come here and continue to keep it dope with us. Let's stop making our own people have to be the slaves for Americans, because I don't want that for my people, bro.
Yeah.
I don't want that any more than black people want to go backwards. I don't want to see brown people have to step into that light either.
Well, I just think that overall, if we do force ourselves to actually take control of these jobs and actually work them, we're going to have less people on drugs. We're going to have less people doing nothing, getting paid from the government. Like, these things that, like, when everyone's like, oh, I can't find a job. I know so many 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds, 21-year-olds, 22-year-olds,
no, you don't want to do a certain job.
They don't want to do a certain job.
Yeah. And they want to be social media.
You know what job you can be an absolute scumbag at? Like, and not all of them are scumbags, but you want to know what job you can do? You can do concrete.
Yep.
You can do.
I've done
You
concrete.
can do landscaping.
That is laborious work.
You
bro.
can. You don't have to talk to anybody.
Yep.
You don't have to.
Yep.
You don't have to do anything other than do the work. Partially, for the most part, but do the work. That's it.
Yeah, I worked for a company. I don't know if they still exist, but it's here in Fargo. It was called MAPS, right? And it was working with migrants. So they would help them get an edge. Like I would actually meet with migrant people who migrated here, and we would get them through some kind of training and certification and schooling so they can get really dope jobs instead of just work in the fields, right? So it was a program. It was a federal government like assisted program to actually help these people apply their skills to something greater than slave work, bro. So I've directly contributed to the well-being of people coming over here legally as migrants to find work. And that job that I had was I met with these people, we interviewed them, we talked about their skill sets or what they wanted to do, and then we set them up with schooling, bro. If you wanted to go work in an office or get a really good job, we put you through schooling and certification programs so that you can get the accreditation or whatever to, I don't know how to say that word right, but to go and get an actual dope job, as opposed to just coming here and being a slave worker. So we actually have programs here that do that stuff, man.
Yeah.
So it's not all bad. It's not all our government's horrible and we hate, other races. No, stupids. You just got to get informed. We have programs for them if they come over here legally to help them get up on the ladder, bro. So why does everyone want them to come at ground level and get on their hands and knees and beg for money so that they can send it back home and take care of their families in Mexico and wherever else they're coming from? I don't want that for them, bro. And we actually have real programs right here in little old Fargo, North Dakota. So in bigger cities that these programs are even on a larger scale. But I've worked that job here before. So I know for a fact that we do help them.
Yeah.
And we want them to do good. We don't want them to just be the back-breaking slaves, bro. We want them to actually thrive in this country when they come here the right way. So there's nothing racist about this country. It's the racist view that people have. The people who are claiming racism are actually the racist ones. They're viewing white America as racist and saying that they hate them because of the way they behave, but they're not informed about what actually goes on and what we actually do. I mean, think about how many, refugees we have in this nation alone. You can't tell me America doesn't care, bro. You can't tell me America's racist against these people and that's why we don't want them here.
Yeah.
We just want them here the right way. They're undocumented. How do we track these people? And the amount of criminals that came over in the last 4 years in the deca millions is embarrassing. We're the laughing stock of the world because no other country will allow you to just do that.
Yeah.
So
it's tough. And just whenever we speak about that, it just makes me think of like losing jobs, people working in jobs and how we won't have people to fill those jobs. And eventually we're going to have to figure that out. And that's extremely frustrating, especially when I know so many people that could go work this job and you could raise your family. It's not fun, but you can raise your family and that's something to be proud of. And that's what we've lost in America for the most part. Like,
it's bad, man.
Not everybody wants to be a man anymore.
The entitlement,
a woman,
the entitlement of society is what leads us down that path.
Yeah.
Dude.
It's just lazy and sad. It is what it is, but we're going to have to find a way to get back to where we're creating people that
absolutely
want to
work.
work.
I believe that's what Trump is trying to get the point across is he's like, look, there's a way to do this the right way and we got to figure that out. But first, we have to take care of the problem.
Yeah.
And the problem is the 20 plus million undocumented immigrants, a good portion of which are actual criminals.
Mm-hmm.
Actual criminals. They've already committed crimes. A bunch of them have come here and committed crimes. And what has happened to them? They've gotten off every time, bro.
Yeah.
So it's time to do away with them. Unfortunately, the last 4 years of White House administration that we had was horrible. That's what everyone should be up in arms about and mad about. They should be mad that we allowed them to come here knowing they shouldn't be here this way and eventually would have to go back, but they left it up to Trump to have to do it so they can label him the bad guy, and then all these uninformed people can just protest and march and hate on Trump as if though I saw a post people were posting today on social media with a bunch of Mexicans protesting, holding a Mexican flag and a sign that said, why don't you go after saving children the way you do us.
As we save 50,000
And I'm like,
It's
what do you?
75.
Yeah, it's like 80,000 that they've already did as a result of the deportation
Within a few
efforts.
days.
They've located 80,000 missing children already of the 300 potential
I thought that was
thousand that are
funny,
missing.
too.
So again, you're uninformed.
Yep.
You're uninformed, and you're attacking the wrong administration. The administration that didn't give a shit about the kids was the
years.
Biden administration for the last 4 years.
And one
The
of the
Trump
only
administration
ones.
and everyone that he's appointed to be within his cabinet, bro, have all already said, we're going after sex trafficking. We're going after we're going to save the children. That is like one of their top 3 efforts that they're putting into this country right now. So these uninformed people are looking so ridiculous on social media, man.
I do think that they got to drag Mayorkas in front of Congress to testify because they found those kids within a week.
Yeah,
And
which means nobody actually tried.
nobody, either they knew where they are,
Right.
or they
were
didn't
culprits.
try.
Yeah. Which neither one looks good for them.
Yeah, I just think it's weird over the past 25 years, at least from my knowledge, like we've done this.
Yeah.
And the last 4 years, for some reason, it was completely opposite.
Yeah.
Let's let
Trump
as many in
derangement.
as we want.
Trump derangement, bro.
Yeah,
Because-
but it's not even Trump.
No,
though. It's
no,
like-
but I mean Clinton, Obama, they all did this criminal, illegal aliens got to go home. If you're a criminal, they've all said it. They've all done it publicly. I think they credited Obama for like doing 3 million, plus immigrants, sending them home when they were here. No one blinked an eye back then, bro. It's Trump derangement syndrome. These people think they hate Trump because they believe something that they don't understand is true, or is not true. And so all of a sudden, everything he does is wrong. He can't do a thing right in the eyes of these uninformed people, which is mind-blowing to me, man. It's mind-blowing that you would want to be so ill-informed and then speak publicly like if you know something.
the fact that people don't think what we did the last 4 years is wrong, though, is the weird thing. Like,
Yeah.
you're like, okay, so we've done this for the past 24 years, except for the 4 years that we didn't do it. Like,
Right.
that makes no sense. Why would everybody else do it and they not do it and let in crazy numbers of people to the United States? It just doesn't
Including
make any sense.
Known terrorist.
Yeah.
It was intentional. It was 100% intentional. That's what they wanted to happen.
Yeah.
They wanted Trump's beginning of his administration to be horrendous.
Yeah,
in the
but
eyes
again,
of the
the
people.
lovely ladies at the View don't say a word about illegals killing people and setting them on fire.
No, but they did say who's going to clean Trump's toilets now.
Dude, you guys can't watch that stuff. That's terrible.
I just watch clips. I would never watch that show.
I was gonna
bro.
say,
I would never watch that.
I seen a couple clips and I'm like, why am I even watching this? They're literally just trying to piss you off.
Those ladies are batshit crazy.
That's
bro.
their goal, though. They want
Yeah.
to piss you
Yeah,
off. Like
yeah.
that's what they want. It
Yep.
gets them views.
I agree.
Succeeded.
Mission accomplished. All right, boys. Should we shut this one down?
Wait,
Yeah.
Yeah.
one more thing.
Wait. Sorry. All right, go ahead.
One more thing. The confirmation hearings.
Oh yeah.
For RFK.
For all three.
For all of them, man. I mean, Pete Hegseth, RFK.
But he was confirmed, so
Isn't-
his
I was gonna
is,
say-
He was.
yeah, yeah.
But I mean, it's the same BS.
Yeah, yeah.
Same BS is what I'm trying
But
to
Kash
get at.
Patel, RFK, and Tulsi right
Tulsi.
now, they've been. It's ridiculous the way that they're being interviewed, man. It's crazy. They grill them with these questions like they want an answer, and then as soon as they try to answer, they cut them off, and they just
We don't have time.
Oh, so you agree? So you agree? You're saying you agree, and they're like, well, I need to clarify. Nope. Then you're saying you agree. I'm gonna on the record. They said yes. It's just like whoa. Like you're not gonna let them say a single thing. So
we
it's
only
crazy.
have 2 minutes, so you
But
can't,
you know what?
you can't do that.
What they're doing is they're exposing themselves, man.
Yeah.
They're really showing who they are and what they're trying to do, which is crazy. But it just means that they understand this is a last-ditch effort.
Yeah.
Because once everything gets established,
best one.
they're coming for them.
Of information are often misleading and detrimental to this committee's advice and consent
Well,
process.
if you consent, I would love to have 5 hours of questions, and then I could read the whole transcripts.
You've got 2
Okay.
minutes.
You got 2 minutes. He hit her with the little taste of their own medicine. That was beautiful.
I love that.
Kash Patel.
Cash, dude, he did great.
Yeah, I thought he did really
He
good.
did really good. I didn't get to see a lot of Tulsi's, just besides the one video I sent you guys.
Yeah.
But
What is she going to do?
Department of National Intelligence.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a pretty big deal. But Cash did great. He seemed like every response where they were coming after him.
RFK killed it though.
Yeah.
Like that dude, I loved everything he said. He called them all out.
Oh, for sure.
Everything they try to accuse him of doing, he was like, "No, that's what you've done. Actually,
you
you've
guys
taken
are taking millions.
yeah from big.
pharmaceutical
It was so
companies.
weird that they were like, "Can you promise us that you're not going to take any money from big pharma and blah blah?" And he was just like, that's weird that they want him to promise that. It's like, can you promise you're not going to dip into our share of the money?
The crazy one was, do you promise not to fire anybody who's working on blah, blah, blah project? Yeah. It's like, why would I promise to not fire them if they're not doing their job? He said, anybody that's doing their job, I will keep them.
Yeah.
But if they're not doing their job and they work on that project, they're not really working. So no,
it makes me wish I would have watched the hearings of when they put in the former Secretary of Health or whatever, like
Rachel Levine.
Yeah, come on. Did you do this to her? Hell,
or him,
or it?
Yeah, I know. I was actually thinking that, like, it's just, man.
What a double standard.
But thinking about like some of the picks that they had, like the Biden administration, their picks, like what?
It was all DEI hires.
Oh, that was crazy.
It was gross. Dude.
That was absolutely to say that gross. That's your Secretary of Health. Like,
yeah,
I no words for that. Yeah. There's no words for that at all.
It's horrible.
Unhealthiest looking person physically, mentally. You don't think they're healthy. Like, there's no confidence in that.
What did they do for the last 4 years?
No clue.
Nothing. They were just a face for an agenda.
Yeah.
That's it. Hell yeah. Well, everyone, we appreciate you guys checking us out. This is some pretty heavy topic stuff. I would appreciate if you guys comment down below, give us your thoughts on the things that we've discussed here. I'd love to hear some of your thought processes as to not just what we were discussing, but kind of the overall topics of discussion that were here. Appreciate you guys. Our numbers continue to climb. Our subscribers are going up. So thank you guys for subscribing. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, talk about us, talk good, talk bad. Doesn't really matter as long as you're talking about us. Peace.